Hey everyone, it's Primer, and it's 3 a.m. right now, but I felt that I probably should just get started in making another video because I haven't posted in many weeks. So, the past night I've been practicing a lot of Friendly Wars, and my thought was why not just share my thought process on going through these different quick Friendly Wars, showing everything my fails, my triples, and explaining how I'm planning and how I'm executing my stuff. So let's get straight into it. And so let's take a look at this first base. And I was assigned the space in a Friendly War, and I could hit it however I'd like, but today I was kind of feeling a little creative. So let's have some fun here. Let's have some fun here, and let's think of some crazier plans, because why not? This space looks a little bit like a ring, just because there's a little bit of some dead zones, and this town hall, it's more like an old style ring base actually. And so you've got the center town hall compartment, and then you've got all these little compartments around it. So of course, when we're looking at the space, or any other base for that matter, there's a few things we're going to take a look at. Number one is LaLo pathing, right, the funnel shape. Number two is weaknesses in the base. Can we abuse any weakness in the base? Number three is Sui value. Is there anywhere where we can really get some nice Sui value, which probably would be through splitting our heroes, because splitting our heroes in most bases allow each hero to take up a different compartment. So that's kind of the three pillars we're going to go through, especially in this Town Hall 14-minute. So my initial thought was, okay, core Town Hall, let's look for some funnel shapes. I was just trying to think maybe you can try to clear this area, try to allow them to this side. But all the LaLo plans I was thinking of involve ending onto the Town Hall with the LaLo, which I didn't really like because the Netherlands can just die after the Town Hall, or they're not going to make it much further due to the poison bomb. So I kind of scratched that idea. My second idea was to kind of straight like a ring base. Right? Try to take out the core in some way, and then cut out some section to the base like a pizza, and then LaLo the rest around. So that was the general idea. And I was trying to get a blimp to the Town Hall work. Right, maybe I can clear this eagle and scatter compartment, maybe Sui the king for the eagle, Sui the queen for the scatter, or vice versa, and then blimp the Town Hall. So this looks pretty good already, but the issue is this is very likely to be baited. There's no way that defender will allow you to blimp both the sweeper, all of the sweeper, single, and the Town Hall, and with the CC, and probably a tornado and a million traps. Your blimp is just not going to make it. So in this case, maybe not. We'll have to think of some other way to deal with the Town Hall. The next thing I looked at was weaknesses. Okay, so are there any weaknesses in the base? And perhaps one type of weakness you should look for is a Yeti Bomb weakness. Is there any place with great Yeti Bomb value, which means close, compact, high HP value? And additional pluses if you can lure CC, because that means you don't have to deal with CC in another part of the raid. So of course that means this compartment looks amazing. For a Yeti Bomb, you can get the RC, the multi, the Expo, all really close together, and you lure the CC. So you can take out this whole compartment with the Yeti Bomb. And again, we still need to solve the problem of getting the Town Hall down. And now, here's when the fun begins. So now I was thinking, with this down, if I can somehow clear the scatter shot area, doesn't it look like I have a perfect funnel for a Sui into a Town Hall? See, now that's a cool idea, right? If I can Yeti Bomb at 2 o'clock, and in this case, I would probably mean using an RC, because using a zap seems quite expensive here. Right? I rarely zap a scatter until there's huge benefit. In this case, an RC does the trick perfectly fine. And since the Sui will tank the queen, I can RC here, blimp here, and Sui for the Town Hall. And now, if you take a look at what's left, this is what's perfect to LaLo. I can LaLo this side. Another reason why this is perfect to LaLo, because you can't really Sui these parts. So you really wouldn't be trying to think about Suiing from 6 o'clock and then LaLoing the other side because of all the weird compartments. But a LaLo from this side looks perfect. It's thin, and the walls don't matter, and the air defenses are decently placed so that they tank the scatter and so on. So this looks like a decent plan, and let's run through it. So while planning this, I haven't really told you the full story, because take a look at the comp. And maybe I won't spoil it because this is a hit that was pretty fun to do. And why not? So I start off, let's see, how do I start off? 3 rocket loons to take out the air defense. And this serves 2 purposes. Number 1, to make sure there's no bait for the blimp. And number 2, to form the funnel so that Sui goes in right at 12 o'clock. And the nice thing is, with this setup, by putting the Yeti bomb first, you can pull the CC at 12 o'clock with an archer or something. And you can deal with the CC earlier where the DPS is not big. And this is always a huge thing. If you can do this with a Sui, do it. If, let's say, the CC was going to be a problem anyways. Because you'd much rather deal with the CC early where there's no DPS on and where the Sui is just going to be still on full health. And look, I'm using a Golem and a Grand Warden. So this is an ambitious Sui because I calculated, if I can get all the value I want, do I really need much for the LaLo? Not really. So I'm kind of backtracking here. I'm saying, how much stuff do I need for a LaLo? Maybe just a Hound and 20 loons or so and a few spells, and that's enough. That means everything else I get invested into the Sui. So that's kind of like the retrograde thinking you can think about. So I'm using a Skelly spell because it's perfect here. First, because I can have a bunch of spells. And second, because there's not much splash. So I can tank the single, the queen, not the eagle, but the exos and so on. So always look for a good Skelly value, which can enhance your Sui. And look, 3 witches with my Sui. This is a Golem witch Sui, whatever, using an RC at 9 to take out the scatter. And everything's looking great, freezing the single. And now the witches are tanked for everything. I dropped the witches a little late, but I think that's fine. Using the last invis onto the Sui because I really wouldn't be using the invis on the LaLo anyway, so why not use it here? Which will allow me to save my tome a little bit. And now I can immediately start my LaLo. So this looks like some sort of Town Hall 9 attack when you just kill squad LaLo, but why not bring it to a Town Hall 14? It's a load of fun, and haste spell at 7 o'clock through lots of splash, and also to cover as many defenses as possible, as we discussed before. We always want to keep that scatter frozen, and we do not want to scatter a single shot. And of course, we're not trying to put everything into our main group. We definitely need secondary groups, especially since we don't have a Grand Order and anything to tank. So we really need to be able to tank that splash. I actually would have probably wanted to save 1 more loon to tank that Wizard Tower up there. I didn't, but in this case, it's fine. This is still a triple. And yeah, this is a hit I'm pretty proud of. So let's go on to attack number 2 and see if I triple that. Okay, so let's look at this next space. We have 2 singles, which is pretty nice, but let's kind of not think about spam witch attacks and so on because, yeah, they're not very fun. But still, let's look for weaknesses, right? Let's look for pathing, let's look for weaknesses. In this case, my first thought was, okay, I see a LaLo funnel, right? Based on these dead zones right here, I can try to get a LaLo funnel this way. But I couldn't figure out an efficient way to clear out this top compartment without investing way too much due to the location of the CC. Therefore, I scrapped that plan. Instead, I'm like, okay, so this LaLo plan's not going to work because there's no way I'm going to clear 12 o'clock. What else can we do? What other weaknesses are there? And so my second immediate weakness I saw was this cluster of buildings right here. Queen, Warden, Inferno Tower, and Expo. They're super clumped together, and so this looks like a perfect place to zap. So if I can zap this and then find a plan that utilizes the zaps and maximizes the zaps value, then it should be a really good plan. So let's assume this is zapped at. Now, of course, we have to consider the follow-up, right? If there's no good follow-up, then the zap plan does not work. In this case, we're looking at some sort of Sui that can maximize the value of the zap, which probably, again, will mean splitting heroes. So how can we make sure each hero gets the most value? Well, based on the location of the CC, there are 3 compartments we can Sui. The Scatter, the Eagle, and Town Hall. So these are all kind of free areas to Sui because the CC is not a problem. Again, we're always looking at the CC location when we're trying to figure out where to Sui. For the Town Hall, since it's pretty deep in, it might be a little risky to send the king, but in this case, the queen is perfect for the job. Right? If we're able to double wall break here, then we can get the queen to take the Town Hall. And then we can use the king for a more high DPS area like the Eagle, and probably freeze over the single and RC, king and take the RC. And then I can get the Stork, I can even probably send the RC for the Scatter. So that's a general idea that I thought of, so let's roll the plan. Again, I'm trying not to spend 30 minutes planning each base, because I just want to show the general concepts, the general base identification, and then just going to roll with it because there are quite a few attacks today I'd like to share. Okay, so first thing is the zaps, which hopefully I drop soon. Now. And I missed the queen, so that's already mistake number 1. I also forgot to bring headhunters, so that's mistake number 2. Again, this is friendly war hits, so it's fast, fast, fast. One note though is, note the way I'm funneling. Right, I'm taking away these buildings, I'm taking away these buildings. This will allow the queen to go in, but what's the best place to drop the queen? Right, do you want to wall break in the center and drop the queen right here, or is some other approach? You want to position the queen so she takes the most natural route in. That means no backtracking, just a smooth, predictable path. And that means often we want to angle her to the side, like this way, so then she can walk this way in a predictable path and wrap back around. And so we get a fully predictable path in which we're 100% sure where the queen is going to go, which also means we're 100% sure the wall breaks are going to be used by the queen instead of the queen walking. So that's kind of why I placed the queen there, with a nice golem, of course, so I can control our pathing. The enemy queen will probably pose an issue, but not to worry. I do not have a headhunter, but I do have a freeze, so that should be sufficient. And again, the queen paths to the expo first based on the pathing I set for her. So that's looking pretty good. Queen takes a town hall. King at 6 o'clock, and here actually I panicked a little bit and dropped the RC as well. So the RC is a little swagged, which also means I won't get the scatter. In this case, I split 2 loons for the wizard tower. One tip is you should never leave like random defenses hanging like this, because it's just really bad for cleanup, really bad for the loons in the end. So you always want to make sure you take them out. In this case, I dropped the loons in a split way to minimize the splash, and now the LaLo comes in. I have to again look for the best place for a slammer, which probably is here because it avoids DPS, and that means I can get my LaLo shape here. Of course, looking for hasting into DPS and hasting to cover as many defenses as possible, as we've all discussed before. Now in this case, I want to push everything towards this core scatter, right? So if I draw the funnel shape, that's this. That means I shouldn't just spam everything at 1 o'clock. I need to save secondary groups of loons to push other stuff into the scatter, because this stuff is not part of the funnel shape, right? That is the basic principle of LaLo, which is why I'm saving many loons, like 13 loons and a hound for secondary groups. So that's something that I've been finding recently, and something I actually been learning even after I posted my earlier videos. And that is, try to have a much smaller main group. Like before I said me like 70-30, even at this point I'm saying like 50%, 50%. You don't need a huge main group in most cases. As long as you can one-shot each building, it's fine. You'd much rather have a lot more secondary groups in which you can deploy to give your LaLo more control. So that's a little tip. Let's go on to this next space I faced. And of course, does anyone want to LaLo this space? No. Sui LaLo definitely not. Queen Church LaLo definitely not. This is a toxic ring base. And so, I will show and not tell. The way I usually counter these bases is a peck smash. And the way you do it is you warden walk one side and you log launcher another. In this case, I decide to warden walk the side because I don't need to take it too much. I just take it this much and utilize this dead zone right here. Which means if I warden walk this, or if I log launcher this way, sorry, then I can send the Pegasus straight for the core. And that's the general idea. Again, with P.E.K.K.A Smash, the P.E.K.K.A Smash is great for bases with a compact core where there are no walls to obstruct, right? If no defenses are hidden behind walls. The P.E.K.K.A Smash will clear this core compartment super quickly, but what the P.E.K.K.A Smash is bad at is clearing defenses behind those walls. So generally we'll clear all this stuff in the core really quickly, and you'll need some sort of backend. So for bases that suit well to this, maybe using an RC and backend, that's what you want to do. One note is that if you replay this again, I drop my queen this side instead of this side, which is a mistake because if you capture the queen pathing, she's going to approach these buildings on the left side, which means she actually walks. But if I drop the queen on this side, she would approach the buildings on the right side, which means she stayed in. So again, these are really little things that you need to take into consideration. In this case, I did not. So the queen walks, which is a little bit of a problem, but because I'm able to get the healer switch and I'm able to keep the healer's rage, right, with the P.E.K.K.A Smash, it's actually more important to rage his healers than Pegasus. You want to rage both, but you want to make sure the healers are raged as long as possible, which often means really aggressive rages. So in this case, the Pegasus are topped off, so I don't worry about the tunnel too much, because they're at full health, they're never going to die. But yep, that is the idea for this plan. Whoops, I will fast forward because there's not much else to it. This is a triple, Maybe not the cleanest due to the queen walking, but there we go. An approach to hit these really toxic ring bases. And again, don't force LaLo onto every base, because LaLo doesn't work on every base as we see here. Okay, next base that we're going to look at is this one. Now, we're going to take a look at pathing and shape again. We notice this core multi, and we notice the dead zones around it. So it's some sort of donut setup again, which means we'll probably want to take out the core in some way, which will allow us some nice pathing, some nice rotational pathing around the base, whether it's LaLo, with Dragon Rider, with dragons, so on and so forth. So the first thing was, I was trying to maybe get some sort of blimp over here, but I didn't really see how I could make a plan to work with that, so I kind of put that in the back burner for now. The second thing I noticed was, right, Sui, right? We were talking about the different things, the different pillars to notice, and the Sui is one of them. If you take a look at the CC range, both these compartments are out of range, so a king or queen Sui into both of these compartments looks very appealing. You don't need both heroes for either of these compartments, of course. One hero will be sufficient, right? Don't waste both heroes to take out a single compartment like this one. So I was thinking, if I can take in this compartment, my second thing I noticed was not many air targeting defenses. So if I can maybe clear out this section with the king and queen, right, one for each compartment, send a slam right here, and get the slam to path towards the multi, based on this little dead zone here, then I can send like dragons and dragon riders this way, straight into the town hall. So that looks like a decent plan, and that could work. And since I would have tons of spells for dragons and dragon riders, they would be able to clear a town hall pretty quickly. My main concern though was that maybe there's a Tesla farm in the Eagle, so I was a little too scared and decided not to go for that. My second idea was, okay, let's see. What if we zap the core, right? And for these types of bases, always consider zapping the core because, well, yep, it's great value. That's the whole point, right? You're clearing this area, so you have this natural funnel shape. This natural ring funnel shape that you can use. So if you can come with a good plan with it, then that's often good. So if we were to zap this multi and sweeper, which I recently learned was only 5 zaps in a quake, what else can we do? Well, we probably want to Sui one side. Like if we try to look for a funnel shape, probably something like this serves as a decent funnel shape. And so in that case, we probably want to clear all this stuff. I'll use different color with the Sui. And so in this compartment, only the king can take this out properly. And so maybe I can use the queen here. So I was thinking, okay, if I send the king on this side, queen on this side, then you get the RC to sneak in between to take out the scatter. In that case, with the zap, I can just allow straight into the town hall, or opposite from the town hall from this side. The nice thing about this is I still have a siege machine, which means to deal with this enemy queen, I can tome early and send a blimp for town hall, which solves both the town hall and queen problem. In this case, headhunters without a tome are kind of iffy because of the Grand Expo, and more importantly because of the multi, which will kind of wreck the headhunters more. So with the Sui LaLo, maybe I can get away with it. With the Zap LaLo with less spells, I really have to make sure I deal with the enemy heroes properly, which is why I decide I can tome a town hall and blimp. Tome the headhunters and blimp for town hall. Okay, so the Zap comes in, and again you'll notice I am going to split my heroes using Super Barbarous Funnel. I'm trying to look for the most efficient funnel. Okay, there it is, Ice Golem and Queen. Using a king on the 8 o'clock side of the compartment instead of the 10, so that I can leave buildings up for the RC to take on this side. And the king should trade with the enemy king, and I'll use a headhunter to take that out. Now you can see, with this Sui taking out this huge portion of the base and avoiding the CC at the whole time, right, which allows for this much great value, the LaLo funnel is perfect. Okay, the CC is pulled now, but it doesn't matter. But you get the idea. The thing with the LaLo, which I've been realizing more and more on why Zap LaLo is so strong, is as long as you can get great pathing with a LaLo, it doesn't really need many spells, as you can see here. Right? I mean, pretty much just using 2 haste spells and maybe a freeze or 2, and that's it. I do use a rage there because it's high DPS and high HP buildings. And in this case, notice how I'm still saving lots of staggering groups of loons. This would have cost me if I didn't, because they would all die to the town hall Giga Blast. But because I only use the smaller portion of my main loons, then I can use more of them for my secondary groups. Okay, let's take a look at this next space. So, in this case, I was already a little more tired, so I decided to just go for something maybe a little more risky, maybe a little more flimsy. So the general idea for this was I wanted to allow this, right? I wanted to allow this and to look for some funnel shape. Due to these dead zones, I really wouldn't be able to allow anywhere on this side. So it seems that only like this side is something I can allow. Maybe from this side like this, or maybe from this side like this. I like this side from the top better because the hound can tend to scatter and get the scatter down early. So if you want to allow on this side, we have to figure out how to clear all this with our Sui and Zaps or Blimp or whatever. So in this case, I thought, great Yeti bomb value here. So again, looking for weaknesses. So if a Yeti bomb here, what else can I do? I can consider zapping this, but because I need the spells, I can't really afford to do a Zap LaLo in this case. Because there's no way a Zap LaLo with not many spells can get the LaLo to go through this enemy Queen and Scatter and Town Hall and all this stuff. Because I need like a Skelly spell and a Rage here, so it's not possible. So that means the only possible choice, so let's say Blimp the multi, and which is not really feasible, or to use the RC for it, which might be. So I was thinking, if I can Blimp here, use the king here, and force the queen to go into the multi, that could work. I just realized I still didn't use my queen. So what if I use the queen here instead, send the king here, use my RC to go on this route, right, maybe using an invis to keep the RC alive, and prevent it from getting distracted on a CC, and then I can maybe Blimp the Town Hall on Wallowing. So that was kind of my plan. Again, I'm not going to go too in depth into my thought process because always will take a whole half hour, but that was my general idea. Using a wall break here, my idea was to get a second wall break this way, but unfortunately the wall break targeted this, which was closer. But now you see the error, a Tesla farm. And this is bad because my queen will never be able to take this compartment on its own. So now I'm immediately adapting. I cannot send the king for the eagle anymore. So within the span of 3 seconds, I'm like, okay, so I must send the king and queen here. But now how am I going to get the RC to the multi? So I remembered I brought 2 invis spells. So now here comes the money. Can I use the invis spells to get the RC to go to the multi? That was kind of my frantic last minute adjustment plan. And I'm trying to funnel the Sui in. In this case, I know the king will walk back because the RC will pull him in, so it's fine. But now again, I'm already playing my RC. I think I drop my RC now. I use a freeze to try to keep the Sui alive for longer. Perhaps it was a little late. I could have saved the Sui more health. And now here comes the RC. I realized as soon as the RC locks into the expo, can I get the next closest building to be this one? And with a specific invis placement, I can. But I need a second invis to make sure it doesn't get distracted from the skellies. But oh no, I drop it 1 tile too high. I make the multi invisible as well. So now this sucks because now I have no good pathing. My original idea was if the multi still goes down to RC, I can send a second group here, and now this way, and send my warden here to go with my main group. But because the multi stays up, I can't really do this, and now I'm just going to do some last minute adjustments. I can't even send my warden at 11 o'clock. So I'm going to have to send my warden here to support the loons through the multi, which also means the loons at 12 o'clock die pretty quickly without the warden. So yeah, this is a pretty messy attack. It's not looking too good. Oh, and I have 3 bats here, just to be a little cheeky. I didn't see much flash defenses here. I'm like, why not? A little bat bomb to the scatter, distract loons. I didn't really need it, but it looks cool, so why not? And yeah, this would have worked if, even with my adjustment to RC got the multi, this would still have been crushed. Unfortunately, now this is a time fail, because I don't have enough loons for cleanup, and I also don't have enough cleanup. So there is our fail, unfortunately. Okay, so let's move on to the next space. Let's see if we can kind of make this up somehow. So, with this base, we'll have another bit of a donut base. Alright, we've got this expo and multi in the core, which means if we take it at, we can do the same idea. So that's exactly what I do. I zap the expo and multi, and of course the key question is how can you split your heroes so that you can maximize the value. And so in this case, I actually thought of it a little bit because I wasn't too sure how to get all the value. My goal was to get the RS to take the scatter, king for multi, and queen to the eagle. But I couldn't figure out how to funnel and wall break the queen to the eagle without spending so much stuff. Like a wall break would go here, and I couldn't get the queen to go this way because it engaged with the king. And I couldn't get the queen to go this way because the wall break wouldn't work, and all these different prompts. So what I settled was, okay, leave the eagle up. Just get the king to take this multi and get the RC, I take out the scatter, and maybe use the queen just here, just to support the RC. It's not the greatest value for the queen, but I really couldn't figure out where else to use it, so that's what I thought. And again, I didn't have too much time to plan. So, in this case, you'll notice I'm bringing both a Skelly spell and Invis. In this case, Invis just to be probably for the RC, in case the RC doesn't get a scatter, and a Skelly because I need to get this queen down. Where I noticed, if I allow it this way, there's no way I can use Headhunters for the queen. And since I decided to use a Slammer here, or did I? I actually don't remember what I did. The idea is, I didn't know how to deal with this enemy queen. I couldn't use Headhunters because of the king, so I must use a Skelly spell. There's no other way around it, which means I don't have many spells for LaLo at all. But again, if the pathing works, I don't really need to, and I'll show you why. But look, the wall break fails, and how can I get my king to the multi? Again, panic mode. I'm trying to figure out, okay, frantically, how do I follow it? So my idea is, I take out these 2 buildings. I try to get the king to walk this way, to walk around. And I'm trying to get the king to identify these 3 buildings as the closest buildings. But because of the rule of 3, the king looks at the 3 closest buildings and then finds a path to it. Of course, this arch tower is messing up this calculation. So I thought, okay, what if I invis these 2 buildings together? And now, king is sure to go in. But because the king takes this longer route, the king takes a lot more damage, so I actually need to use a freeze as well, which means I have no freeze for LaLo's. This is not looking too good. But anyways, queen up top with RC. That should take out the scatter pretty easily with the queen helping. And with the king tanking, the king gets the exo, which is nice. So in this case, we can fast forward a little bit. So I get most of the Sui value at once. But the main issue again is I barely have any spells for LaLo now. But take a look here. If I plan my LaLo, and I wish this scrolls down, do we really need many spells for it? Right, we have our main group going this way. I can use a Slammer to distract the scatter, right? Without any spells, you have to be really efficient now. I don't really need any spells here because the hounds are tanking, and I'm trying to drop as little loons here as possible to bare minimum because, especially when there's less spells, you can't use spells to support your main grid. So you're just going to have to scatter your loons even more to try to avoid all the splash altogether, right? Avoid your with 15 loons being taken out by the eagle instead of only like 5 loons are being taken out here. So that way I have 19 loons and 2 hounds left. That's how much of secondary groups I have. So in this case, I want my LaLo to continue this way. Now I need, of course, to take out all these buildings not inside the secondary group to directly target more defense, split it up. I still have 5 loons and a hound left. And because I'm splitting it so much, I don't even need many spells. I only need 1 haste here and a Skelly spell, which I actually miss. But now everything should convert to a town hall. But wait, what's the warden doing? The warden is not following the loons. Oh no, this is bad, very bad. So now, yeah, all the loons die and this is no good. I still have 3 loons left, which is again why secondary loops are great. But yeah, unfortunately, that tunnel blast hurt a lot. And because I also don't have any cleanup here, this is going to be a time fill. So that kind of sucks. But at the very least, we recovered somewhat. So even with the warden kind of screwing us over, at least it wasn't a 1-star. Okay, next space. So the commentary will end here because I did do many friendly wars. I didn't want to commentate every single war we did because that would take forever. So the rest I'm just going to leave here to play. This is an Electro and I want to have some fun. I thought this is a great place for Electron because of the chain value. Unfortunately, my Electron is all low, so I didn't get the chance on an Eagle. But either way, I'm trying to recover from it, maybe use the RC for the core. But yeah, I'll let this play it, and I hope this was somewhat helpful. I'm hoping to release more videos in a somewhat regular frequency because it's been a month and a half since I released my last one. So hopefully stay tuned for that. Hopefully I have some new content coming. We'll see what happens. So take care and I'll see you in the next one.